It's theedgeonair.com, the greatest music you never heard till now. Ladies and gentlemen, I have here in the studio here with us all the way from Chicago. Actually, that's not that far from Lombard. No, it's not far at all. We have with us Mark Rose, and we also have Shane here with us. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. The weather's good. It's cold, but
Today wasn't so bad.
No, that's true because the wind didn't blow.
Yeah. Yesterday, I picked up Shane from O'Hare,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, "Are those actually snow flurries on the windshield?" And I was like, "Yeah. What's the weather like in Philadelphia?" And he's like, "I don't know, spring."
Well, hey, what can I say? The weather's good. The Blackhawks are doing pretty well. They play tonight, and the Bulls play tonight.
And the White Sox. We got triple feature, obviously.
This is exactly why we don't have a show in the Chicagoland area tonight.
That would have been a poor decision.
Really. It really would have been. But let's start off talking a little bit. I'm going to start with you, Mark.
Sure.
You being from Chicago. We had chit-chatted a little earlier. Who would you say is the biggest influence for your musical career? It could have been a person or a band. Who would you say?
Well, honestly, I'm gonna throw out two names, and they kind of are associated together for part of their career, and then separate after that. I'm gonna say Peter Gabriel and Phil Collins, and here's why. I'm a big fan of songwriters in general, singer-songwriters, but I also have a lot of fond memories of the music of Genesis,
yes,
in which they had some overlap in for a number of years, of course, before they went their separate ways.
Right.
But those two guys, I love taking so many different elements that they're so unique yet so similar in a lot of ways. I love them both for different reasons. So I would throw those two out there. As a little kid, though, listening to Michael Jackson, Thriller in my parents' basement, running around, dancing, making up dance routines. I'm not a dancer that you know of, though I was a child magician. So
really?
I'll throw that out there.
Really?
That is a quote for Twitter right there.
Right. I was a magician.
A child magician.
A child
I'm not a dancer,
magician.
but I was a child magician.
What is your favorite Genesis song?
Oh, man, that's a tough call. I'm going to say No Son of Mine.
Yes, I like that song. The video was real good, too. You're no son of mine.
That's a good one.
That was one of my favorite songs. I like, what was it? I think it was called I Can't Dance.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
But I can do magic.
Right.
But I can do child magic. All right, out of context, that's really bad. That's really bad out of context. Remember, I was a child magician. That's not a joke.
Wait, okay. What was your favorite trick as a child?
No, it was a joke. I don't know. I had a bunch of terrible tricks. I made my parents would at family parties, they'd get everybody, they'd gather them around, and my dad would start the camera and he'd be like, "Ladies and gentlemen from Glen Ellen, Illinois," and they'd all clap for me. And I had a stage name. It was Mark McCullen.
Really?
Don't know why, but Mark McCullen was. I was a child magician. I was also a singer, and I don't know. It was. I would tell some jokes. I would try to play some songs, and it would be.
It was a variety show,
pretty much. And you'd hear in the background like you'd hear things like you'd hear my aunt laughing and clapping, and then you'd hear my grandpa being like, "What is he even saying?" I don't know. I don't know what I was doing, but.
Well, and obviously that didn't work out, so you turned to music.
Right. Well, I could always go back.
Well,
people try to say you got to follow your dreams. So, if music doesn't work out,
you can always go back to magic. Mm-hmm. Shane, any stories for you as far as doing magic or?
I never did magic. I just couldn't do it. I don't know. I didn't have the sleight of hand.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Shane Henderson.
Shane Henderson, yay! Welcome to the show, Shane.
I was kind of rolling with the just Shane thing, kind of like Prince, just like one name.
And
I was digging it. That's why I didn't throw my last name in there until you just did.
Shane.
Now, Shane, I'm gonna ask you. You being from Philadelphia, you really don't hear acoustic sounds. I guess per se. You always hear about the Philly soul or the Philly sound.
Hall and Oates.
Hall and Oates, yeah. I do like Hall and Oates.
Rock and soul.
Rock and soul.
Rock and soul.
But you had told me earlier that you were a big Boss fan. For
Yeah.
those who don't know who the Boss is Bruce
And
Springsteen.
you're ridiculous, and you should stop listening to music.
No,
right
or
away.
start.
If you don't know who.
No,
the
or
boss is.
start listening to music.
Yeah,
start,
listen
yeah.
to Bruce.
Yes.
Exactly.
Don't bring him down, Shade.
Ah,
Lift him
well,
up.
You know what?
Yeah. Bring positivity to the people, Shane.
Take the EDM 4 on the floor out of your ears and listen to something good.
Lift them up, levitate them like a child magician would.
Yeah, yes, please
As
do that.
Mark
McCullen.
Mark McCullen was
It's not
Mark
Mick Mullen,
McCullen.
it's McCullen.
McCullen. Almost like Macaulay Culkin.
Right, kind of like
Almost,
that.
almost.
Kind of like Macaulay, but McCullen.
McCullen.
I love that.
Now you said that the Boss was your inspiration, your biggest influence because of you being from Philadelphia. Who else would you say was a huge influence for you as far as your career?
It's really funny because I'm like all over the place when it comes to music. Like I love everything. So growing up, as a 14-year-old kid, I really got into like punk rock and rock and roll, and I was really into Green Day. Obviously, it was like a big influence with the Dookie
Green
record.
Day, yes.
Bands like Propaganda or NoFX. I know these names are probably foreign to a lot of people out there, but NoFX and Hot Water Music is totally one of my favorite bands. I mean, Hot Water Music made me want to tour and play rock and roll. But
I'm with you on that, though.
Yeah, going to see the Boss perform was like, earth shattering to me. It was like, oh my God, this guy just played for 3 hours and he wants to keep going. He's just doing a 5-song encore. Like, it's like, okay, I need to step my game up.
Was it just him or like any opening act for him? Was just him for 3 hours straight?
It was just him. I mean, Springsteen never takes an opener.
opens for himself.
He doesn't bring out an opener. It's
Okay.
just the Boss show all night long. But yeah, I mean, Springsteen like really what it was I feel like rock and roll and the punk rock that I was listening to really got me interested in playing guitar and performing. And when the Boss like hit me at a later time, a couple of years later, where I really began to understand the meaning behind the songs and really kind of dig into like the whole storyteller's vibe, that is what influenced me to want to better my writing. So it's like the performance aspect, and from an energy aspect, punk rock, obviously, like I was in punk rock bands all through high school, and the band that I was just in for the last 10 years was like a pop punk band that had like an alternative edge to it. So, it's like a combination of things. I like pick and choose like where my inspirations come from.
In your stuff too, I hear some Stephen Jenkins from Third Eye Blind.
Yeah.
I hear some Tom Petty.
I was really into Petty, really
Tom
into Third
Petty,
Eye
yes.
Blind.
Very good song.
Like I never snubbed my nose at anything. Well, there may have been a little nose snubbing going on, but
At who might we ask?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
should I lay down the smack?
For starters, if you say Mark McCullen, I'd be very upset because I never really had a chance, to be honest. So if that's where you're going to go with the snubbing,
Yeah. No, I don't think I could talk smack on
you know
anybody.
what? I think more than ever. I mean, sometimes behind closed doors or in a tour van, you get into some of the stuff that you don't love about music, but music's about the community of enabling each other to be better. You know, to get better at music, to write better songs, to be better performers, to be better people.
Here's what I don't like. I'll tell you what I don't like. I don't like it when you show up to a show and there's bands that are playing and they have egos. Because nobody should have an ego in this industry. We're all doing the same thing.
Well,
we're not reinventing the wheel.
That can't be.
Well, yeah, I get it if you're selling out like Madison Square Garden. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, okay, you can have a little big head on
Even
you.
still, you just
Yeah,
hope that
right.
the real people
Right, yeah.
are underneath it.
You just I mean, for
Right.
me, it was
Everybody
always
had to
like
start somewhere.
for me, and this may sound selfish, it may come off the wrong way, but I always did music because it was for me. Like I never wrote music for other people. I wrote it because it was therapeutic and it was something that helped me get through what I was dealing with. So when I see people that are like doing it for the wrong reasons, that just like brings it up. Picture time.
I was told to take a lot of pictures.
I'll piggyback off that though, because I'll say like, write songs for yourself. Like, do it for you first. Like, it should be about wanting to express yourself, get you know, I don't know, dig
Yeah.
deep down inside.
And to like finish my point was that the bonus is when you connect with someone on another level where they attach themselves to what you've been through, and you can kind of both piggyback off each other of like, hey, you know what, your song helped me. Well, guess what? It helped me too to write it. So, you know what? You're my homie.
Totally, yeah. Did not mean to cut you off there. That was exactly what I was going to say, is that when you connect with somebody and realize the power of music and the power of words and how they can help people through some of the darkest times in their lives and help them remember some of the best times in their lives, that is the most rewarding feeling. And again, it's almost like a selfish thing because it's still for you. It's like a rewarding feeling that you get when you help.
But it makes it it just makes it so much better when other people associate with it, you know?
Right. Now, do you write songs after stuff or things that you see or that you've experienced? Because I think, Mark, you had mentioned the song that you performed a little while ago. You had mentioned that it was some things that happened in your life, kind of personal, that inspired you to write songs. Is it something like one day you wake up and say, oh, man, I feel real happy today, I'm going to write about being happy? Or if a girl or your boss or somebody ticks you off, do you say, you know what, tonight I'm going to
get him.
Right. I'm going to write something about him tonight. Yeah, that's going to, it's going to be a metaphor for this guy.
For showing up late to work.
I'm going to create a magic trick that's
right.
No, I for me personally, I've done so much over the years, so much writing that was, all from my point of view and of the point of view of things going on around me, and it's always inspired by real stuff. However, I've really found joy over the last few years in starting to kind of write almost in a third person, like about things happening around me with other people, kind of like from other people's points of view, and like it allows you to almost be like a fiction writer for a moment and tell a story and write a story for somebody else about something else. And I started a site a few years back called Downwrite. That's downwrite, WRITE.com, which is all about songwriters connecting with people and having these people share their stories and having them influence custom written songs just for them. So you'd like work with a songwriter that you pick out. You might have an artist on the site that you're already a fan of. Shane's on the site. We have over 100 songwriters. And at Downwrite, I'm writing songs for people about their lives. And I found that to be really inspiring because it's like, on one level, it's kind of like a songwriting exercise because it helps me practice writing songs. But on the other side, you end up writing songs you otherwise would never have written because it's someone else's life you're writing about. And that has helped me to open up and expand my mind a bit for songwriting as a whole. And now it's just been a lot of fun. And, some of the songs that we've been playing on this tour, like Shane and I are playing, are songs we wrote originally for other people that we now are taking to the stage and taking to the studio to record for ourselves. And it's been real special. Now,
is it hard for both of you guys to write songs for other people? Is it hard to imagine yourself or imagine them singing songs that you've written, or is it fairly easy, or how does that process work?
I think it's just so different. It's like you can't really put a definition on it because it's for me it's like I love Downwrite because it changes my writing. I mean it lets me kind of go a little bit more in detail about a story, whereas if I'm writing about myself, sometimes I like to be a little bit more vague and use metaphors and kind of like express how I'm feeling through different ways. But with Downwrite, you have all of the content that is, the message and the meaning behind the song is given to you, and you just need to fill in the blanks. And it's almost like a word game in a sense because you're able to, what your end goal is, and you just need to connect the dots and tell the story in a beautiful, poetic way. And to me, it's just awesome because I get to like try different things that I normally wouldn't try for my artist career, specifically because it may not be released, it may be released if it winds up being cool, but at the end of the day, I tried something different, and I think that the effort that I put into the songs is respected by the person who's purchasing it, and it's just still a unique gift to give someone.
Right.
It really is, and the people, that are requesting songs are, you know, in some way, shape, or form, they're kind of pouring their heart and soul out to you in their request. And I'll say that having gotten some requests that have been very moving and sad, and I've gotten requests that have been really uplifting and fun, or like even like wacky and funny. Like I've gotten all types of requests, and they all put me in a different place when I put it together for them. And I think that what we're doing with Downright is we're enabling songwriters to find creative work doing what they're good at, and we're also enabling people to get something special written just for them, and that's truly like a one-of-a-kind, you know, gift.
Right.
And
I mean, you could buy your own record of songs that you know, from different artists that you love, and just create your own record of like your life story.
Yeah, I don't know if I've told you this, Shane, but there's someone that put aside you know, a couple $100 from every other paycheck, and over the course of 6 months made an entire mixtape for his girlfriend, now fiance, that he proposed to her with on a drive. So it was all different songs written about their relationship. So a particular artist wrote about how they met, another artist wrote about their first date, another artist wrote about you know, like a fight they had, or like, you know, a high or a low they went through, and they had this mixtape. So they're driving and they're listening to this, and she's just like, this is our life. Like, we're listening to our life. And then at the end, he like proposed to her, and she said yes. So I'm just thinking like that's
You're gonna make me cry.
Yeah, really.
Isn't that something though?
Man.
We had another guy who got a song from Matt Pryor from the Get Up Kids, and a song from Bob Nana, who's actually, Bob's in Braid, Hey Mercedes, a couple bands, but he's also the co-founder of the site with me. Got a song from each of them, and then asked permission if they could press onto a 7-inch vinyl. One song on each side, and it was a party favor at their wedding. So that was their first dance, was one of those songs, and then they gave a copy to everybody who was there.
That's cool.
Like, I mean, how cool is that?
Yeah.
Now,
I've done the same thing, like up and down. Like it's been like there's been sad songs, happy songs, and engagement songs, and I always feel like when the person who's buying the song gets the song and then writes me an email about how much they love the song, I just like, it makes me so happy.
Yeah, I mean, it's rewarding.
You just hear these stories of these people that are doing really cool things with the gift of, you know, like giving it out.
Now, excuse me. Now, you guys mentioned about writing different types of songs, love songs, sad songs, different things like that. What about social conscious songs?
Yeah.
Is that something that you guys like to write, or do you kind of steer away from it? Because not everybody likes to talk about politics or things that are happening in the world.
You know, I feel like if I have a few songs that are a little bit politically, socially driven, but like I said, I kind of tend to kind of like hide them with metaphors in a sense, because I don't want to be too out there with it, because it gets a little nerve-wracking when you put something like that out there, because obviously it's a polarizing topic. Right. You know what I mean? It's like you're going to get people that are disagreeing with you. Right. You're going to get people that agree with you.
Right. I was just going to say it's your opinion.
Right. So you know, as long as people understand that, like, hey, it is just an opinion and it doesn't have to agree with you, but at the same time, this is what I stand for. Then I love it. But I haven't done too many songs like that.
Yeah, I also haven't done too many. I've got a few, and you know what? The ones that I do have slightly more of a social conscious thing or politically conscious thing. I try not to really be picking a side and fighting for it as much as I'm fighting for people. Like, I'm fighting, like, you know, I think, you know, helping somebody up and when they're down and realizing that we've all been there is the most important thing, because I think agreeing to disagree is kind of the best thing a lot of people can do, because once you can find that common ground, you know, between your differences, you're not going to agree, and it's hard to make people agree, nor do I think everybody should agree. So, I mean, I'm totally cool with that stuff. I just, you know, I would like to think that somebody who I really don't agree with from a political standpoint, I could still have a good conversation with them. Or if they needed something and I could help them, I would. You know, that said, you know, I have my opinions and I have things that I would stand behind and believe in. I just don't like that to be a reason someone would or wouldn't listen to my stories. You know?
I've personally, the most socially driven stuff I've written about has been police abuse, personally.
Okay.
That's like
That's been a hot topic in this country.
And I'm like, it drives me nuts when I see stuff like that happen. And I could like go on an hour-long tangent about how ridiculous I think it all is, and that it's just not right, you know.
Right.
But like I said, it's it's a personal opinion, and what are you gonna do? You know, it's just that's how I feel. So deal with it.
but it comes down also to artistic freedom.
Right.
Do you feel sometimes though that artists can take things too far, as far as
You know what? No, and I'll tell you why. Because no one's holding a gun to your head saying, "Listen to this." If you don't like something, don't buy it. If you don't like, don't support something that you don't agree with. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's as simple as that.
Just
and
be quiet.
you don't have to speak out against it. Freedom of speech. You know,
mm-hmm.
like that's one thing. Like we don't need to get into a huge political conversation, but
and not to try to get into that, but there are artists, and you guys are artists as well, who they'll use music to express how they feel.
Yeah.
About certain topics, whatever the case may be.
Now, a good band that we could talk about that would bring up that topic is a band called Anti-Flag. Have you ever heard of a band called Anti-Flag? It was it's like a punk rock band that's very, very politically driven and very outspoken against the government. And while I felt like they did it well, if you ever saw them at a concert, you would say, okay, you're going too far. Because it's like, after every song, the guy goes on like a 10-minute rant. And it's like, we didn't really pay to see you talk about politics. We kind of paid to see you sing about them. Right. So, like, there's a fine line between taking it too far and being allowed to do what you want to do with your music.
Yeah, and I think that lends itself to exactly what the bigger picture that we're, I think, conveying in general, which is, do what you want, support what you love, find what makes you happy. My thought is that anybody should be allowed to do whatever they want, provided they're not hurting anybody. But that's a very common way to look at it, I think. I think a lot of people feel that way. Mm-hmm. If I don't agree with something, I don't care if you're involved with it, provided it doesn't actually affect me or people I care about.
Right.
So, everyone should be able to do what they want and support what they want and have their voice heard.
Right.
Sometimes the loudest voices are the ones that are, heard the most, which is unfortunate, when there's a lot of things out there that are kept under the radar with a lot of, mainstream media, but that's another topic, and as musicians, it's important for us to be conscious of these things, but also to be, if people have things going on in their lives, we want to be part of the relief for that. We want to be what they can go home and listen to or look forward to going to watch perform, or, we can be somebody's after work wind down. We don't have to necessarily drag them back into the things they don't want to be remembering,
Right.
So, but everyone's different. All artists are different.
Right. Now, kind of switch gears a little bit.
Sure.
I'm going to get you guys out of here because I know you guys are ready to probably go to sleep. Or at least
I'm going to watch the Bulls.
I was going to say, watch the Bulls
and the Hawks.
I'm going to eat a big old deep dish pizza from Giordano. That's what I'm
Can't go wrong with that. I wanted to ask you guys about touring.
Sure.
You always hear about celebrities and artists going abroad, doing shows or commercials abroad.
Yeah.
But me personally, I don't ever hear the feeling of what it's like overseas compared to how it is here in America. From your take, because you both have traveled abroad, what is the vibe that you guys get, or is there a difference between overseas and America?
It's a big culture difference, but I think there's similarities too. It's you go overseas and it's not like it's a home run just because you're from America and you go over there. You still have to work hard and.
Yeah, what I've always noticed is that the fans that come to support the live music are so excited because they don't get the opportunity to see you very often, but the general perception of being an American over there is not always like a warm response. But of course, the fans are excited. So the people at the show are different than the people at the corner store or at the restaurant.
Yeah, they're getting something they don't always get, So.
Yeah,
if you roll through Chicago 10 times in 3 years, obviously people coming back for the 11th time aren't going to be super
right.
And the public perception of, not to get back into politics, but the public perception of America and Americans can change depending on where you are, that's that's to be expected. So when I'm over there, when I say there, I just mean anywhere that's not here.
Right.
But it's like somewhere like Australia. To me, you do some cool stuff you couldn't do anywhere else. Hang out with kangaroos, but the people aren't that different.
Right. Yeah.
People are speaking English. They have a fun accent.
I'll tell you what, though. Some of my favorite shows have been international shows. It's crazy. I mean, we showed up. We were on Soundwave, which is a big festival in Australia, and I'm talking about my band Valencia at this point.
Okay.
And we did a bunch of headline shows just outside of the festival, in clubs on days off, and we did one in Melbourne, and which they say Melbourne, but we say Melbourne.
Oh, okay.
Melbourne.
Yeah,
Melbourne.
see, now you're like, oh, Melbourne. Okay.
Right, okay, right.
They call it Melbourne.
Right.
But we did a show there, a club show, a headline show, and it was like it was a hometown show for us. It was like we were in Philadelphia playing. I mean, kids were going insane, and I was like, we are like really far away from home right now, and this is happening. This is really cool.
We'd like to come back very soon.
Yes. Can we do this tomorrow?
The first time I toured internationally, I guess outside of Canada, was I did a UK tour in 2005 with my band Spitalfield, and we were actually going over there with Fall Out Boy, and it was Fall Out Boy's first time over there also. And we grew up in a similar place, had a lot of similar, friends, and we went there together. And to go somewhere that far away, to get onto like a tour bus, and to play a show in a city over there, and to have people care, and to have them know words to songs and want merchandise and want photos, that was a mind-blowing experience for me. And I'll never forget how excited I was at that point to be making music, something I was really doing.
Right.
So I mean, I think doing anything outside of your hometown is a cool experience, but it goes local, then it goes regional, then it goes national, then international, and at a certain point you have to hit the brakes and be like, is this really my life? And this is awesome.
Right.
Yeah. This is the coolest thing. I feel so empowered to do something I love doing.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Mark, Shane, thank you guys so much for coming on. We
Thanks,
greatly appreciate it. You guys will actually be at Shuba's tomorrow night downtown at what time? 7 o'clock?
7.
Yeah, the show starts at 7. We got one opener on before us called The Westward Spirit, and then Shane and I will be going on stage together right after that. It's an earlier show. It'll be over with by 9, so go do whatever afterwards.
Right, so come down, get some good food, hear some good music, and then afterwards, party.
That's right. And if you're interested in hearing more about what we've got going on, you can find Shane. You can find Shane on Twitter, Instagram, at Valencia Shane.
Valencia Shane.
That's right. You can find me, Mr. Mark D. Rose.
Yes.
And
Mr. Mark D. Rose.
Yeah, and if you liked what you're hearing about Downright, if you are interested in getting a song written for someone special, go to downright.com. That's WRITE. And if you're an artist and you're interested in getting involved, you can hit us up, info@downright.com, and we could try to get you set up with a profile so you can start writing for other people.
And we have a really rad contest that we just started today. Basically, you go to our Instagrams and you'll see that we both posted the tour promo ad mat of all the dates for this tour. All you have to do is regram that and then send an email of a screenshot of you regramming it to the Downright Tour at gmail.com. Is it the Downright Tour?
Just Downright.
Downright Tour at gmail.com. You send the screenshot of that to that email address, and you automatically get 10% off a Downright song. That's plain and simple. You just get 10% off just for entering, and then we're gonna pick a grand prize winner that's gonna receive a co-written Downright song from Mark and I.
Alrighty. Well, hey guys, get on.
If you got a story and you want us to tell it, jump in this contest.
Alrighty. Well, thank you guys so much for coming. We greatly appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Mark Rose and Shane, and we're going to play your song, She Doesn't.
She doesn't.
She doesn't. She doesn't.
Thank you for having us.
No problem. No problem.
Shane Henderson.
Yes, it is Mark, the child magician.
Mark
McCullen.
McCullen with She Doesn't
Mark
right
Rose.
here at theedgeonair.com. Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Chris Morris here from theedgeonair.com, and I am sitting here to my left is Shane. Shane, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. You as well are you are an acoustic player. Who or what inspired you to pick up a guitar?
Well, to be honest, I guess Bruce Springsteen would be
The boss.
good option. I mean, I grew up on the East Coast. I grew up in the Jersey area, technically Philadelphia area, but it's a big Springsteen fan base is from there. So my uncle was a huge fan, my dad was a huge fan, so it kind of got me into it. And then actually, I was more of a fan of like punk rock and rock and roll and stuff like that, and that's what got me into bands. And when the band ended, I mean, I had always done like acoustic projects and stuff like that while I was still on tour with my band. But when the band ended, I just figured I'd go out and do it myself.
Right. Now you're here to play 2 songs. Now, what 2 songs are you here to play?
I'm going to play a new one called Solid Ground, and then I'm also going to play a song. I just put out an EP not too long ago. It's a solo project that I do, but it's actually full band stuff rather than just acoustic. So I'm going to play an acoustic version of the full band stuff that I do called The Future Perfect, but the song is called Wasting Time. So
Wasting Time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, here is Shane performing.
Thank you. Yeah, this one's called Solid Ground.
All right.
Should've known this was burning down. Toxic cycle of overlooking now. All that's left are shared memories that will never mean a thing again. And all that's said and done, I got my friends, these 2 feet, a song to sing and a life to lead. No, it won't define me, just 'cause 2 hearts that used to love sing their beat. She'll find comfort in the passing time, in the new year with her head held high. I can't change what I can't control, so I'll find peace of mind in letting go. Search for solid ground. If it's right underneath, oh, it's right underneath where you're standing. You got your friends, your 2 feet, a song to sing and a life to lead. No, it won't define me, just 'cause 2 hearts you used to love. Caught in that vicious cycle, ups and downs and the roads less traveled. Waking up is a daily battle. Remember who you are, just be proud enough to scream. I got my friends, these 2 feet, a song to sing and a life to lead. No, it ain't a defeat, hearts you used to love. I got my friends, these 2 feet, a song to sing and a life to lead. No, it won't define me, just 'cause 2 hearts you used to love. Won't sing their beat. Thanks. So this one's off I have a project called The Future Perfect, like I said. Put out an EP a couple years ago, a year and a half ago. You can find it on Spotify, iTunes, all that stuff. And this one's called Wasting Time. Several days, wasting ourselves away. I'm wondering now, I gave you everything. You left me as a broken man. Are you happy now? I never thought that I would be the one to
push you down. It's cold outside, I need warmth that I felt in my lover's arms, but she's gone, she's gone away. Left me here without a sound. Oh, you know I've got my pain. I never thought that I would be the one who's wasting time recently. You're still on my mind every day. When you said easy comes as easy goes, that's the way I'm gonna show. I won't waste my time over it. Took a trip to Los Angeles to see what the hell was going on, and I woke up to a Patty song reminding me to stay strong, because everything good soon turns gray. You know that's what they'll say. So bring yourself to me, oh darling, let me see, 'cause I know I can be the one. Give up my pride and know that where I stand is home. And if the answer shows the open road is calling, I won't be the one who's wasting time recently. You're still on my mind every day, and I know easy comes as easy goes. That's the way I'm gonna show. I won't waste my time over it. No, I won't back